The Sticky Trifle Podcast. Welcome to the Sticky Trifle Podcast.
Welcome once again to Sticky number 18. And as we continue into July, things keep getting better with the phases now, meaning the opening of pubs and hopefully restaurants coming up later this week. And our guest has refused to wear a mask, so what can I do? And the seat we're about to sit on, we've even booked it, just for us.
Sticky Trifle Podcast. And welcome once again to the Sticky Trifle Podcast, and we are here, and look for us back, one of my favourites, and you're kind of like becoming a part of the Sticky Trifle Podcast nowadays.
Well, it's the same as the radio is, man.
Exactly, aye, and that's why you're back on, and social distancing. We alright with social
distancing? Well, we're alright, we're operating within the limits.
Now, while you're speaking about operating, I think we can only operate better in a day like this, Mervyn.
Oh, that's an
I've got you, this is Thailand. Chang!
But that means it's the Thai word for elephant.
So this means elephant?
Elephant beer, right.
Have you tasted this stuff?
Oh, I've drunk it all the time when I'm out there.
Here you go.
Oh, it's very nice here.
All the best on getting coronavirus.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Cheers, Errol.
You're very welcome. We should maybe hear a toast here. A toast to being on the Sticky Trifle Podcast.
Okay.
And no pubs can stop us.
No.
Right, so we're here at the Lighthouse Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Lighthouse Museum, and what location?
On the Lighthouse.
So
on the wine tower.
Wine tour, which we just saw earlier.
Right.
And what do you ken about the Lighthouse, by the way? Do you ken a lot about
the Lighthouse? Was built by the Frasers in the 1500s, around about 1570 the year, and then they lived there, and then in 1787 it was handed over to the Lighthouse organisation, if not what it's called, you can.
So hold on, if I was the Frasers?
The Frasers are the people that are the Sultan, for the Sultan comes with.
So they're the Sultan for Sultan place?
Well, Sultan is the same folk.
Uh-huh.
And Frasers originally came from France, and their name was spelt with a Z, not an S. And they made their way up here in the 1500s. They came here. I don't know precisely what date they came here, but they came here and settled here, and they built a castle there.
So would this be in the top 5 tourist attractions for the Broch, for Fraserburgh?
Oh, I would think it would be. I think it would be.
Do you actually visit here a lot? Do you pass here a lot for a walk or something?
Aye. Well, especially when I used to bide in College Bounds and Bredsea, I used to come doing this way a lot with the dogs for a walk, but obviously not so much now because I bide on the other side of the town, you can.
Okay, and so if we speak about the Lighthouse Museum, which is obviously, it's been closed lately because of the coronavirus, but have you been in there a lot?
No, I haven't been in there much at all. I've been, the last time I was here, I was through the Lighthouse itself with a guy that I used to work with when I was a young guy in my teens, and we went into the Lighthouse and on the coffee and had a cup of coffee. But this is much better with this bottle of Chong here.
This helps, does it?
Right.
And I think we all need to chill out a bit
Of
sometimes.
course it is, right.
In a way, it's kind of weather. It's one that
Well, it's a lovely day, isn't it?
lovely day for being
So
at
the wind is coolish kind, but it's a fine day.
Aye.
Again.
Now you've been doing a bit of history research and all yourself, do you? Because you like delving into the history of Broch. Where do you find this stuff at? When you're finding, do you go into the library?
Well, I've done that. Aye, I've been to the library, and on several occasions. And I also, if I see books for sale somewhere, if I find it's something to do with the Broch, I'll buy it, and I've got quite a few of them. And it tells me a lot of things about the Broch that I maybe didn't ken. And I've one of them lying here, for example. This in here is a man called David
Murrison.
David Murrison.
The Broch as it was.
The Broch
Just
as it
can
was.
just so I don't know kind of whenever you can see it, but here we go. The Broch as it was. David Murrison. And so far did you get us?
I bought it for Diggers.
Diggers, wow,
Right.
that's a short nail longer to go.
I still to go.
Oh sorry, I'm
Aye,
getting
Diggers
mixed up
in
with
Broad Street.
I'm getting mixed up with, am I saying John Trails?
Oh, John Trails is
John
there.
Trails,
No,
I'm
no,
getting
no,
mixed
no,
up with.
That's long
Did that
gone.
near burn to ground?
Aye, it did, aye. It
Was
did.
it suspicious circumstances?
So I'm led to believe, aye.
You'd ken more than me.
No, I wouldn't.
So Diggers still not going on.
Aye.
So that's far to get us
That's
kind
right,
of
I bought that particular book for them. It's just jam-packed information. He was another famous broker, and he went. His dad was a joiner. He moved to Aberdeen when David Murrison was a young loon, and he obviously went with his dad. And he went to university in Aberdeen, and he finished up in Cambridge University as well. He's lectured on the Scottish language and words and stuff that he was with Scotland for years in universities all the way, and he was awarded several accolades which he never took because he was just a plain straightforward guy. And he retired to the Broch, and I must have seen his photograph in the papers or something, I can't mind. And I was driving up Dennyduff Road one day in the 1990s, early 1990s, and I said, I'm sure that's David Murrison. So I went over to him, I stopped the car, went over to him and I said, excuse me, I said, are you Dr. David Murrison? And he said, looked at me, and he was an old man, and he says, aye, that's me. He says, once you've seen my face, you will never forget it. and that was him. That was. Then he died in the Broch, Parkinson's disease, I think it was, and his wife was called Hilda, and she finished up in the hospital up at Maud, you can. But I thought that if you mentioned Dr. David Murrison as he was called,
Yep.
people didn't even ken him, you can.
Oh, you
And
hadn't heard of him?
well, he edited the Scottish Dictionary. He started in 1946 and finished in 1976. And he took over for another doctor in Aberdeen, for his name was Grant. Because I can't remember if he took the wheel or something happened to him. And David Murrison took over for him. So I was really pleased and privileged to have met him.
Yep.
You can.
Now listen, I find you an interesting person because I think down the line one day when you're going, hopefully it's not in the too distant future, you're going to be around for a while, but I think there's always going to be a lot of folk minding you for being driving with teaching folk to drive classic cars.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I went to delve into Murrison. I more about your love life.
Well, love life.
Right, now, and I'm speaking about when you was young, because was you married?
I've been married twice, divorced twice.
Okay, so like if first marriage, did you enjoy being married?
Sometimes.
Right, okay, and so how long did that first marriage last?
Oh, it was less than about 25, 30 years.
What, so you were successful?
Well, was I?
More successful than
was
me in
it?
marriage.
Well,
I've
one
not been
again.
married. I've been married yet. I was engaged, but never worked out. But anyway, so after the first marriage,
Aye.
which was a long time by the way,
A long time ago.
you moved on to a second marriage. How long was the second marriage?
It was
last?
about 20 years, roughly.
It's 50 years basically combined between
Well,
the two
roughly,
marriages.
aye.
So that shows
If I was to think about it, I could tell you the exact dates, but I didn't see much relevance.
Have you any regrets about getting married to any of them?
Oh, I have, because they cost me a fortune.
Is that all there is in money?
Money.
So I presume you lost the car. Did cars get lost in this?
Oh, that's going long
and
ago.
that was annoying because that's a passion of yours.
That's right. I love cars, and I also taught folk to drive.
Aye.
So I love it when they deal with cars.
And fit about like pets, or us two relationships in the past, the long marriages.
Well, dogs.
You had dogs.
Dogs.
You still dogs.
Then I got in dogs. The last dog died in 1998. He was 12.
And what kind of dog did you have?
It was a Doberman. And he died. He was put to sleep in 1998. And
was he a well-behaved Doberman?
Oh, he was alright. He was okay. He was a big softy, really. He weighed about 8 stone, and he made a lot of noise, but that was about it again.
What's about a weight to a thin female? 8 stone.
Oh, I never looked at the dog in that respect at all.
Right, but the dogs, you never. Have you ever thought about having a dog again, or no? You're just
I'm back and forth to Thailand quite a lot, and
for Chang. Do you go for Chang at Thailand?
Chang, I go for Chang.
Right, okay.
But no, I'm not getting another dog. No, never mind. I'm too old now, I reckon.
Never too old.
Well, years.
And so,
plus.
see after this is our byway, because we're getting to a better stage now. There's word of the lockdown kind of what soften and ease, and for you personally, if it's going to be the best benefit for you for this lockdown ends, is it going for a drink at a pub or something?
Weatherspoons will open.
So Weatherspoons, you're one of your faves?
That's one of my favourites, aye.
Quite right. And like cooking, you still doing a bit of...
Yeah, I just bite myself, so there's no much point, so I just took the easy way out again.
Aye. Other thing I was wanting to ask you, Marvin, see when you was younger, in your younger heydays, when you left school, what job had you to start with? Because couldn't have been driving.
No, I worked in a bank for 4 years.
Like
a bank?
Managing money?
Aye.
Like dealing with people and all?
Aye.
You'd been great at that, I can imagine.
Well, I can if I was, I know, but I was there. I was at the National Bank, which was located for the Hydro Board, was that, which is now some kind of carry-out shop. And it was half of that building was the National Bank, and then for the Royal Bank, is now opposite the Royal Hotel, was the Commercial Bank.
Which is in Clydesdale now?
No, the Clydesdale's further up the street. That's inside Mid Street. The National Bank and the Commercial Bank amalgamated and became the National Commercial Bank of Scotland. So the inn in Broad Street next to the Hydro was closed, and everything was shifted to the inn opposite the Royal Hotel, which is now called the Royal Bank. And then the National Commercial Bank of Scotland amalgamated with the British Linen Bank and the Royal Bank, and subsequently become the Royal Bank of Scotland.
So was that a good experience for you when you was working in the bank, or was it just something to get by for you?
Well, it was just a job like anything else, really. And I found it to be pretty boring, really.
And so how did you make a move from banking to a driving situation?
Well, I had a heap of jobs in between all that over the years. I had a chip shop, and I worked for British Fish Corners, which is just across here.
You run a chip shop?
Yes.
Far?
Lockbots Chip Shop in Buchan Road.
You did a Lockbots chip shop?
Aye.
Was that temptation with food enough when you was working in here?
No, because you get sick of the sight of it.
Aye.
Yeah, there's no temptation. No.
So you didn't like a bag of chips?
Oh, still, I like chips.
You like a bag of chips?
But then I didn't, again, because I was surrounded with it all the time, again. And then I moved on from there to the driving instruction, which was the only job that I had that I really enjoyed. Again, that was the only job that I really enjoyed, again, teaching folk to drive, and I got a lot of satisfaction out of that, especially for people that had maybe some learning difficulties and things like that, you can.
I maybe had learning difficulties when you was teaching me.
Oh no, you were alright. No.
But you got job satisfaction.
Got a lot of job satisfaction out of that, you know,
really
a lot of job
satisfaction.
Seeing folks' faces once they'd passed their test, and also when they failed their test as well, because it works both ways, you can.
What do you mean? People that wasn't sticking in?
Well, people don't know, just people had made a mistake while they were out with the examiner and failed, you can, as simple as that.
Aye, right, okay.
You can, as simple as that, you can. But no, that was all a long time ago. I've been retired for that for more than 10 years now, you can.
So, looking at your life, you have got regrets, you're saying, about being, 2 marriages.
Oh, aye.
But now why? Like, I'll tell if it kind of, I get slightly annoyed sometimes because I think, how does this folk, they meet at school and the rest of their life they're married and there's no problems, well I wouldn't say no problems, so folky arguments.
Right, okay, what you
but
mean.
I sometimes get frustrated, I think, how does that happen? And then there's other folk it doesn't happen with. Is it just the luck of the draw in life?
It must be, I don't know, really.
Is some folk just lucky with relationships and that's how it goes?
I would say maybe they are, or maybe they're more tolerant of each other.
Aye.
It would maybe be the right word to use, I don't know.
Or is it, is that a word that they call love? Maybe love really is real.
Or lost.
Or lost. I use that word a lot. But when you look at it kind of like relationships with folk, I think it's sometimes to do with how you get compatibility.
Aye,
would I be right saying that? Because see your 2 marriages, was they both compatible with you?
Well, they were at one point. Then it changed, didn't it? Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten divorced for them.
Aye, right, okay.
Again, so we weren't compatible then.
Would you also agree, see your time, because something else, for me personally, I feel like, see if you're in a relationship with somebody, you sometimes grow apart and grow into different people as you grow. Would I be right saying that?
I think people change throughout their life, again.
Uh-huh.
You maybe had different thoughts about things and figure things out in a different way, you can.
And would it also make you probably a better person when you evolve?
Well, it can do it, or it can make you a poorer person by getting divorced.
Right, which
Yeah.
you've...
Which I've experienced.
So for you to tell me about getting married?
That's up to you.
Oh, pretty good. Right, anyway, you've been on again. Hopefully, now the next location we're at, I don't know how far we're going to be when you appear again. We don't know how far he's going to appear again, but you will be appearing again.
Oh, I never that.
And the next location, it might be somewhere in the Broch, or it might be somewhere outside the Broch.
Well, but before we finish off, we had to mention the Wine Tower, haven't we?
You're right, the
That's
Wine Tower.
one of the oldest buildings in the Broch.
Wine Tower.
And there's a lot of debate about it, what it was built for. And my belief is that it was because of the word wine, and it was for the kept, I think, again.
Fuzz wine.
Fraser, for the castle.
So they had a massive stash that they kept down there.
I mean, it says it's a wine tower, again. I mean, my father would have built it there otherwise, and for fit purpose, again. I didn't really can. It's open to dispute about that, about why it's there and fit its purpose was. But another thing I read was about it, before the Broch Harbour was built, the boats used to come in here, just right in front of where we're sitting just now, and they would tuck their boats up onto the shore there, and there was a cave underneath there which led up underneath the Wine Tower.
In fact, about a story, or the maid it jumped and committed suicide and bumped up in the rock.
I didn't get it, what's true. Her name was supposed to be Isabel, and did you care? Her father, no, I didn't care. I wasn't quite around then.
You go out,
just a little bit before my time.
But is it true? So that story, we don't care.
And I don't care if it's true or no. The word goes that she was locked up in there because she was taken up with what they termed at the time was a commoner again, just a common person, and her father wasn't very pleased about it, and she was supposed to have jumped there and killed herself. But whether that's true, I really don't care.
We'll maybe get a look inside it one day.
Well, I think you can. Because I see there's steps now hanging up there now. You can see them before we're sitting at just now, Ken.
And I'm sure a lot of you when you've been doing here, he's always Abdi goes up his steps and has a look in, but he can't really because there's a door open here. So anyway, Marvin, that's going to be it for a Sticky Trifle podcast. Thank you again for coming to the Lighthouse. What a nice location for it.
Beautiful.
And we're enjoying mine's just about done.
I've been speaking as much. I haven't got mine drunken yet.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.
So I'd better stop speaking and drinking.
Okay, so that's it for this week, and thank you, Mervyn, for
bother,
again. And
Yeah,
we'll see you in future in the Sticky Trifle podcast. Bye.
Sticky Trifle podcast will return next week.
Stay positive until next week. Bye.